Welcome to Breaking Chains, the podcast for the strong ones who are tired of being strong. I'm your host, Nicole Richards, a certified public accountant turned certified master coach, a mama and a cycle breaker who's no longer pretending everything's fine when it's not. This is the space where we stop performing and start unpacking, where we rewrite what we've inherited and reclaim what we were always worth of. So if you're carrying invisible weight, navigating tender transitions, or finally choosing yourself after years of forgetting who you were, pull up. You're safe here. Let's break some chains. Let me start by saying this. The boundary is not the betrayal. The boundary is the blessing. I had to learn that the hard way. Through guilt, through grief, through sleepless nights where I questioned everything. Not just in the family, in friendships, in business, in motherhood, especially as a woman who has been conditioned to be available for everybody but herself. Boundaries aren't walls. They're doors with locks, and you get to hold the key and determine who you're giving that key to. I didn't grow up seeing boundaries. I saw burnout. I watched women in my family serve themselves last, praise themselves never, and perform strength like it was the only language they were allowed to speak. So when I started saying no, when I stopped over-explaining, when I started saying I'm not available for that today, the guilt hit me like a wave. Because in our culture, saying no, especially as a Black woman, is treated like an attack, like selfishness, like a betrayal of who we were raised to be. But let me tell you what's actually selfish. Asking someone to set themselves on fire to keep you warm. And I refuse to burn for people who won't even bring me water. So let's talk about the ones who share your blood. The most painful boundaries I've had to set have been with the people who quote unquote love me, but only when I'm convenient, silent, or bending. Going no contact with my mother? That wasn't petty. That was protection. That was me saying, I can love you from a distance. I can honor your role in my life and still prioritize my peace. And honestly, the peace was immediate. The grief came later because I still had to mourn the fantasy of who I hoped she'd become. But boundaries doesn't mean I'm bitter. They mean I'm done begging. As a coach, a business owner, and a community builder, let me be real with you. Boundaries aren't just spiritual, they're operational. They're built into your schedule, your systems, your silence. I don't answer DMs at 11 p.m. I don't say yes to every collaboration anymore. And I don't mentor people who think access to me is the same as appreciation. I had to unlearn the belief that being available makes me valuable. No, ma'am. My alignment is my value. And anything that disrupts that, I bless and release. The boundary work doesn't stop with adults. It starts at home. I'm raising a Black son in a world that tells him to shut down, perform masculinity, and ignore his needs. But in our house, we talk, we pause, we name what we feel, and I teach him boundaries by modeling them, by showing him that rest is not a reward, it's a right. That mom doesn't answer every call immediately because she matters too. I want him to grow up knowing his partner is not his therapist, his worth is not his work, and his yes means nothing if he never learns to say no. Now let's get real. Some of y'all are setting boundaries, but then apologizing after. Stop it. Don't do that. You're over-explaining. Stop explaining way too much. And then we're caving under pressure because, they are good with the guilt tripped. And that's not a boundary. That's a performance with a pause. And here's the truth. If your community only celebrates you when you're accessible, available, or agreeable, it's not a community, it's convenience. You deserve spaces where your no is not questioned, where your pause is honored, where your peace isn't punished. That's what we're building in the reset room. That's what breaking chains is about. That's the standard now. I know boundaries feel scary, especially when you've lived your whole life without them. But hear me out. Boundaries don't ruin relationships. They reveal them. And the ones who really love you, they won't leave you when you choose you. They'll clap. They'll adjust. they'll meet you where your peace begins. So if you're listening to this and your body is screaming yes while your mind is trying to justify no, let this episode be your confirmation. You're allowed to choose yourself first, and you're allowed to do it without guilt. If this episode hit home, share it. Tag me at Nicole Richards 718 on Instagram and use the hashtag Breaking Chains Podcast so we can celebrate your boundary breakthroughs together. And if you need a space to keep healing in community, come on over to the Reset Room. Is where we do this work in real time with structure, softness, and a whole lot of truth. Until next time, keep breaking chains, keep honoring your no, and keep becoming the version of you who no longer needs to be rescued because she finally rescued herself.